Hey, this is Tasha. Welcome back to my channel where I talk about whatever I want because I'm multifaceted. In this video, I just really want to give an update on the June-July sewing plans video that I did a couple months ago. If you haven't seen that, you can see that here. I want to be honest, I feel like as sewers, you know, we have these plans, we make things, but then either they don't always come out the way we wanted to, we don't always make them the best, even if we wear them. And it's kind of just the illusion on social media where it's like, I made this thing, it came out bomb, and then that was that. When in reality, things don't always work out perfectly like that. And I just kind of want to be honest with the things that I made. Did some things come out great? Absolutely. Did some things... Yes, also. So I want to talk about it all and just be real. You guys can let me know if you had that kind of experience in the comments as I go along. I'm actually going to talk about these patterns in the order that I made them and not the order that I had them in the video, okay? So don't be confused by that. And I just want to point out I have blog posts for each of these pieces that I made. So check out my blog at the end of this video to see extra pictures and extra, you know, construction thoughts that I had during the whole process in my blog post. And those links will be in the description box below. We're going to talk about them in that order and then we have some surprises at the end, okay? So let's get into it. Okay, so the first plan was the Styles InSeams Antonio Tote. I have it here. This is the Antonio Tote that I made. You see with the pass-through pocket here. This is the back of it. As you can see, it's kind of floppy, doesn't have a lot of structure, and that's one of the things that I want to talk about. But before I get there, I made this bag in like 6 hours the day before my trip. Not continuously, but if I added up, it was 6 hours throughout the day that I made this. I was rushing because I literally needed it for my trip. And yeah, I never made a bag before, so it was a whole thing. It actually might have taken me less time if I didn't get confused. There were parts in the instructions and the pattern pieces that didn't line up all the way. And I did let Robin know my feedback about those things in an email. So I feel okay talking about it. But she might make an update to the pattern, who knows. But there were parts in the pattern pieces that didn't line up correctly. And then some of the actual pattern instructions I was a little confused on. So it took me a little bit longer than it probably would have if I didn't have those issues. But I will tell you, even though I had those little snafus with the construction and stuff, I will be honest, I have used this bag on 3 trips, which is like, I think I've taken like 5 flights with this bag. This bag is so clutch. It is so clutch. It is so big. It holds so much. It's a whole carry-on on its own, seriously. When I tell you that this bag has been packed to the max, I've had laptops, multiple toiletry bags, books. I mean, the bag, when I have it packed up, it literally stands on its own and it is a whole thing. This bag is so clutch, especially with the pass-through pocket to put over my carry-on luggage holder. It is the best. Chef's kiss. I love this bag. I love the fabric that I used for it. It's very, very durable. I'm glad that I got the, I'm forgetting off the top of my head what I call this, this cording for the handles. So durable. I'm glad I didn't make them out of the fabric. I mean, the bag is holding up very, 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 very well. I'm very, very happy with it. It does fit under plane seats, but you have to be careful. On Southwest flights, this bag full fits under the middle seats and the window seats. It does not fit under the aisle seats at all. I don't know why. Those are smaller. It doesn't fit. And then on Delta flights, it doesn't really fit as well. It pokes out a little bit. I don't know what's going on with Delta seats, but on Southwest flights, fits perfect. The changes that I would make the next time I make it would be to add some type of cardboard or like a board and kind of sew that in the bottom of it so that it has something that, you know, will allow it to just stand up on its own and have that square structure on the bottom. I would really love to do that. And then also I would get like whatever those things, those studs things at the bottom of bags are called, those bag, you know what I'm talking about. I want those. I did put like these these closed studs on the bottom just because I was trying to make something work. And I mean, they didn't fall out, so it wasn't the worst idea, but I would buy some actual ones that are 4 bags to put underneath them. Will I make this bag again? Absolutely. This bag is perfect for the purpose that I needed it for. It works well. Like I said, it's sturdy, the construction. Nothing is coming loose. I mean, it is a great pattern. Love this bag. Don't get to use the snaps part often because I'm always filling my bag to the max. And also, honestly, when you use the snaps on the bag, you can't actually zip the bag up. When you try to use the snaps on the bag, right, it closes up like that, and then you can't actually use the zip part at all. You can't really zip the bag up because the zipper is getting kind of caught up in that excess fabric from the bag. So that's a little awkward, but like I said, every time I use the bag, I fill it to the max, so I haven't been able to use the snaps anyway, so that's actually something I might just leave off the next time I make the bag. On to the next. So the SimplicityxMimiG pattern. I ended up actually making both pieces. I made the top and the skirt. This is how the top came out. I actually ended up making it strapless because as I was making it, the strapless looked cuter for kind of what I was going for, so I didn't end up attaching the straps. And this is the back. And I also made the skirt. I was at the point of hemming it and I tried it on and I hated it. I hated the skirt. It did not fit my hips right. The fabric that I had kind of stretched out around the waist, so after attaching the waistband there was lots of puckering there. I didn't like it at all, and that's not a down on the pattern, but that's a down on me actually fitting it to myself and then taking actual care of the fabric as I was doing it, because I don't even remember stay stitching the waist of the pattern. So a lot of the mistakes could have been on me, and I know I don't have hips, so I'd be making a lot of stuff with hips and not doing the real fitting for that, so that's my fault. So it's not the pattern's fault, but I hated it. So I ended up scrapping the skirt altogether and actually just wearing it with the skirt that I already had in my closet. One thing I will say about the skirt, I'm thinking about creating my own skirt sloper so that I don't continuously have these issues when I try to make a pattern that's a skirt. If you follow me or my blog, you'll notice I don't make tons of skirts. I will make dresses, but I won't make lots of just skirts alone because most of the patterns have these hips built into it and I don't have hips. So I have really massive hip dips. So it's just empty space on the side of the pattern, and then it ends up not allowing it to fit in other places. So I think I should make my own skirt sloper and then adjust patterns as I make them to my skirt sloper. I think that would make the most sense, and I just need to set aside the time to do that really. The top, it fits tight when I put it on, but as the day goes on, I'm pulling it up. It's consistently falling down, and obviously the pattern is not made to be strapless. It's supposed to have straps. So, you know, I had my own issues with it. I loved the top though when I made it. I will say it's very hard trying to fit a top that closes in the back. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm by myself and I'm trying to fit something on me, even going like this, I'm already misshaping the bodice, right? To even try to close the back. And my dress form isn't actually my exact size, especially, you know, the high bust and all that stuff. So how are you supposed to fit something on yourself when it closes in the back? That was a dilemma I was having with this top, and I think that's why I ended up falling down a lot of the time, because you can only fit it so much, you know, by yourself. So that was a little difficult. But I love the combination of the pattern and the fabric. It gives it lots of dimension, especially with the big tie in the front. So I love the top. I do. Will I wear it again? I don't know. I don't know if I'll wear it again. I was thinking about making the straps detachable. I did actually make straps. And I was thinking about maybe putting some buttons on the inside and the front and the back, and some buttonholes on the straps, and kind of making the straps detachable, so that if I do want to wear it again, I'll have the straps if I want to, and then maybe I can wear strapless if I want to. But I don't know if I want to wear the top again. Why? I don't know. I liked it for the moment, but now I'm not really feeling it just because I had to do all that work to kind of keep it up all night. And this is one of the things I wanted to talk about. You know, you make something, you love it, but then it's like, do I really love it after the fact? And that's the kind of the emotions I'm going through with this top. It is a fun top. I like it, but do I like it enough to wear it again? The jury is still out. I don't know, but that's something I'll have to think about over time. On to the next. So my next make was really fast. It was the Staystitch Patterns Co. Lola Tank Racer Front dress. And I made it out of this double brushed knit that I showed you guys in my plans video that I told you was kind of giving Versace vibes. I did not make this in time for vacation like I wanted to because I was really focused on making that bag, and that bag was done literally like 3 hours before I had to leave for my flight. So did not get a chance to make that dress for that, but I did get to make it later on, and I went to brunch with my family. I sewed this all on my serger, and I was a little nervous as I was sewing this that it would stretch out because double brush knit, if you've ever felt it, is really soft and very stretchy and could have the tendency to really just stretch and not bounce back. But it actually held up really well, which I'm very happy about. On the back, I cut it on the fold and I did a sway back adjustment because I know that's something that I need for myself, and I knew if I didn't do that I would be very upset. So I did make a sway back adjustment on the back, which helped with the fitting and the shaping on the back for me. I didn't fully read the instructions before sewing this, which is a big no-no in the sewing world, but I didn't, my bad. And I almost fully botched sewing the neckline. I sewed the seam allowance way too big, and so one side of the neckline, and you can see pictures of this on my blog, one side of the neckline is super duper thin. And I kind of, once I started sewing it and I realized, okay, this don't look right, I went back to the instructions and some other pictures I had seen of people making it, and I realized I was sewing it too thin. And so it gets right gradually as you go along. Like I said, you can see pictures of that on my blog. So that was a little snafu on my part, but you know, mistakes happen. The only adjustments I made on the pattern was that I tapered the skirt in at the bottom 1 inch on each side, so basically 2 inches in, so that it just wasn't a box when it came down to the hem, that it kind of went in. And then I also cut it a little bit above the knee to kind of give it more of a flirty look instead of more of a more formal look, if you know, if that makes sense. This took maybe like 1.5 hours, and it's really only took that long because of the binding situation that I had. It kind of stopped me in my tracks and I had to regroup. So all in all, I love this dress. One thing that I did on here that I have to actually go back and fix, and this is another, just a moment of honesty. You know, as we make things, you know, we take some shortcuts and then sometimes we have to go back and fix our mistakes. This is one of those times. So I didn't actually hem the dress, like stitch a hem on the dress. I actually used stay tape, I think it was, or hem tape, basically double-sided tape for sewing. And I used that on the bottom. It's about 1 inch long, but after washing the dress, it has already come apart. It has not stuck any longer. And I was scared to stitch the hem because I didn't want the bottom of the dress to stretch out and be wavy. So I actually have to go back and stitch this entire hem down where the hem tape was. So am I gonna do that? Yes. I do like the dress enough to actually make this adjustment because I can see myself wearing this even through the fall. This is actually kind of a transitional dress because the double brush knit kind of offers some warmth. But anyway, I have to go back and fix that hem before I can wear it again, and so that's something that I have to do. Leave a comment down below and let me know if sometimes you have to go back and make adjustments after you sew a pattern. Let me know that I'm not alone, please. Just let me know that I'm not alone in these things, okay? So let's move on to the next one. So the True Bias Zoey dress. Baby, I love this dress so much. It looks super duper plain. Check out the pictures. This dress, I love it. It makes me feel so cute and feminine and just classy. I love it. I love the color. I love the color on my skin. It's just, it's right where it's supposed to be. This dress took me about I think a little less than an hour. It's really, really fast, really fast sew, and actually faster for me because I ended up cutting the front of the dress on the fold. You're actually supposed to cut it in 2 pieces, but I did it on the fold, so that made it actually faster for me. And then I also added 2 inches to the bottom of the dress, and it actually ended up being more than 2 inches because I didn't hem it. Again, I have a thing about hemming knits and this one wasn't bad at all because it gives a very, very blunt finish. So I didn't hem the dress, which is not an issue for me. It made the dress a little bit longer, but still fine with me. I had a better time with the bindings on this dress when it came with the shoulder and the neck. It was an interesting thing for me because I've never done separate bindings like that attach to each other. But something that made it a little bit more difficult for me is because I didn't read the instructions fully to know what I was supposed to be doing. I just assumed the order and didn't read the instructions, so my order was completely out of order. And so I had to kind of finagle the bindings around the arm when I shouldn't have had to. Make sure y'all read the instructions of your patterns before you make them, okay? I'm talking to me. But it all ended up well. I was able to give it a clean finish and not have any janky issues with it. I did on my blog ask for advice on if anybody had advice on making the transition here a little bit more seamless. On the top, for me, I feel like when I'm wearing it, it's very, I don't know, you can just tell that something's going on here when I feel like it could be a little bit more seamless. So if you have made the Zoey dress, drop down in the comments and let me know if you have tips on how to make that a bit more sleek. I've already worn this dress at least twice, and I've worn it completely different ways. The first time I wore it with like this head wrap and this bright orange purse and these cute shoes, and then the next time I wore it by itself with like a cute bag. And so this dress is so neutral that you can actually style it, dress it up, dress it down any way you want, but it still makes you look upscale and luxurious, especially with this fabric. This fabric is very, very luxe. So I'm really, really happy with the way that this dress turned out. Like I said, I've already worn it multiple times. I will continue to wear it probably throughout the fall because it's, you know, a great color for the fall. And yeah, that's that. The last thing that was on my sewing plans list was the Staystitch Patterns Cocoa Bias skirt out of this beautiful fabric that I got from Spain. But I need to make an update. I didn't make the Staystitch Cocoa Bias skirt. After making the mistakes on them other patterns, I actually went to read the instructions on the Cocoa Bias skirt pattern and realized, you know, of course I had to cut it on the bias, which would have meant I would have to cut it on the floor and had all these different pieces. And then when I was looking at the construction of like the waistband, I was a little confused and I didn't really like it. The way that it was like the waistband with the elastic. And then it prompted me to look up other makes of the Cocoa Bias skirt, and I noticed that the waistband on all of the skirts, it was like cinched. And that's not what I wanted at all. Even though, of course, elastic would make the skirt faster to make, I wanted to buy a skirt that would be flat around the waist. It just seemed like everybody who had made the pattern, their waist was like, you can tell it was an elastic waist. I have another bias skirt that I bought in the store, and it's an elastic waist, and when I put it on, it's flat. And so I'm like, why is everybody's skirt like that? And then when I looked at the actual, you know, pattern company's pictures, it was also cinched that way. And most of the people just ended up covering it with like another top to kind of make it look like they're wearing a dress, or maybe covered it with a sweater. Nobody was really wearing the skirt just as a skirt, and which was the way that I would want to wear it. So I was having second thoughts. So many second thoughts that I scrapped the idea completely. And I decided to go in my stash to find an easier skirt pattern. I almost didn't make the skirt at all, but I was like, no, I want to make a skirt out of this fabric. Let me find a pattern. So I went into my Sortly app, I sorted by skirt, and I just started scrolling through my patterns and decided on something. And that something was, I've had this pattern for years, never made any of the pieces in it. I have My whole pattern cabinet is full of patterns that I ain't never used, which we're gonna start making a change about that, seriously. But the pattern said easy, and I decided to go off on a limb, and I actually like looked up iterations of this pattern, and I was like, oh, okay, it's actually not that bad. And then when I looked at the description of it, the description said,
close-fitting top, sexual strap front button, pull-on skirts, has back extending to the front with tie-ins, no side seams.
So I'm like, how easy is this skirt? Child, this skirt was so easy. I had the skirt done less than an hour from start to finish. This skirt is actually really cute. I have pictures on my blog, of course. It literally just ties in the front, and then it's high-low. This version I made is high-low. Not only is it, you know, like that in the front, but I can actually turn it to the side and have that, you know, that tie on the side with basically a split, kind of like a split on the side, have it high-low that way. I mean, you can mix this skirt up. It's really, really cute. And it was so easy to make. I cannot believe I haven't used this pattern. So, love this skirt. Didn't have any issues making it at all. None whatsoever. Like I said, I was done in less than an hour from start to finish. And I love it. It drapes really well, just like I thought this fabric would. It drapes beautifully. I've already decided that I'm gonna make the shorter version of this skirt as a swimsuit cover up, because I can tie it in the front, I can tie it on the side. It's very easy to make. That's what I ended up doing with this fabric. It was a great make. Like I said, it took me less than an hour, and it was perfect. And because it took me less than an hour, I was trying to find something to wear with it. I didn't want to just wear like a black tank top, which I have lots of black crop tops and stuff in my closet, but no, I wanted something a little different. But I didn't have anything. I didn't have like a red top or a yellow or nothing like that. So this same fabric that I made the True Bias dress in popped out to me as a color that would match with this skirt. So within that same hour that I made this skirt, I made a Lola racer front tank crop top to wear with this skirt, and this took less than an hour. I didn't have that same issue with the neck binding because I remembered what I did the last time. It came out perfect. I didn't hem it only because I almost hemmed it, but I didn't hem it because I wasn't sure what length I wanted it at, and I still haven't decided yet. I haven't worn it again to see how I really feel. But I am gonna hem this, I promise. I just don't go around not hemming it on my clothes, okay? I'm gonna hem the top, but I haven't hemmed it yet. Yeah, so this was an outfit that I wore together. I mean, you've seen those pictures already, and you can see more pictures of that on my blog, of course. So yeah, those were the things that I made. The tank was a little bonus thing that I made that wasn't on the list, but it coordinated perfectly. So since you've made it all the way to this point, I'm gonna show you a couple of the things that I'm about to make. It's a little secret, so don't tell nobody, okay? It's between me and you, all right? I have 2 big events coming up in October, 2 big outfits to make. The first event I'm going to is New York City Frocktails. You've already seen the vlog from when I went to DC Frocktails, and listen, I'm going to New York this time, okay? You know, New York is one of the great fashion capitals of America, okay? I'm not gonna say the world, of America. You know, New Yorkers go out there and they're on the runway every day going to regular work, right? The fashions out there are real fashions, right? So I didn't want to just come looking regular, right? So I'm going to use this fabric to make something out of. Look at this! Baby, look at this fabric. Oh my god. Oh my god. Y'all don't even understand how much I love this fabric. Do y'all see all the colors? Y'all see the rose gold, the red, the black, the white, the gold. Let's go ahead and fix this. Let's turn this down. Right? And then y'all, look at this fabric. Okay, that's your sneak peek of the fabric that I'm making something for in New York Frocktails. You're gonna see more of that fabric in my next video, because my next video is my Panamanian fabric haul from when I went to Panama. I bought tons of fabric. You're gonna see this fabric there because that's where I got it from. So stay tuned for the next video if you want details on this fabric. I want you to comment below what you think I'm gonna make out of this sequin fabric, okay? Tell me what you envision for me I've never sewn with sequins before, so I really need to get started because I only have 2 weeks left. I gave myself a whole month to make this, and here we are. 2 weeks left and the fabric is still in its full state, right? What am I doing here? Don't know. I'm gonna get started very soon, but I have another event coming up next month, and it is another traditional Nigerian wedding, which I'm super duper excited about. This time, the bride and groom have allowed me to purchase some of the aso-ebi fabric. The aso-ebi is like fabric that the whole bridal party, they all wear together and coordinate, and I guess the bride and groom, they pick it out for their wedding, and then people can purchase it and make stuff out of it. So everybody is coordinating, but in their own style, and they let me buy some. So baby, honestly, I wanted to hire a designer and just make it for me, but the bride told me that I'm not allowed, and she told me I have to make my own thing. So that's what I'm gonna do. So this is the fabric that was given. It is gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. I love it. Wow. And the flowers here, you see, I know you guys see the sequins around the fabric, but then it's like velvet, and baby, it's a lace, and all the things are in this fabric, right? I have chosen the patterns that I want to make my outfit. I'm not gonna lie, I have chosen. It was a hard decision. I literally went back to my Sortly app, went through all my evening dress patterns and all that stuff, pulled all them patterns out, and kind of was like comparing styles and what I wanted to make, and I did land on a couple of things. But I'm not gonna give them away to y'all, okay? You're gonna have to stay tuned and wait for what that's gonna look like. But listen, if you're proud of me like I am for sticking to my plans and actually making everything I wanted to, please give this video a like to let me know how proud you are of me. Because honestly, I'm patting myself on the back. This is not normal for me, and I'm really happy with what I accomplished. I really am. If you want to know more about how I organize my patterns and my pattern cabinet, and you know how I'm able to sift through all my patterns without having to pull them out of my pattern cabinet, make sure you check out this video here. It'll explain to you how I organize. And make sure you check out the DC Frocktails vlog before I put out the New York City Frocktails vlog in this video here. And I will catch you in the next one.